How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Prison Architect. I want to get started today by taking a bit of a look at our to-do list over here on the left, and specifically at the visitation part. We have 11 families that want to visit some of our inmates, and I think we need to do something about that. So I'm looking at this space down here, just underneath the yard, and I'm thinking that we could probably, with a little bit of careful planning, figure out a decent little visitation space. So we're going to start with some walls, and what we can do is go 6 tiles just across here. Now, 6 is a very specific number for a reason, and that reason is that if we search in our objects for the visitor booth, this is essentially a better version of the visitor table. Now, it is expensive. It's over 3 times as expensive. The visitor table is $300, where the booth is $1,000. But the visitor booth is going to prevent contraband from being smuggled into the prison through visitation. It is, however, only half as effective at catering to the family need than a visitor table. So essentially, this thing is 2 by 2. So what we can do in planning is go to objects and say that we want one here, we want one here, and if we just maybe go 2 across and say 10 down, that gives us room for 5 of them on that side. We can do 5 on that side. And something to keep in mind about these visitor booths specifically is that while they're less effective than the table for that family need, they do have one side for the prisoner and one side for the visitor. So if we set this up properly, we can keep everybody separated so that they are never interacting in the same room, but they are visiting each other through the visitor booth. So that's why we have this layout right now. But in terms of planning, we can go just a little bit further. So what I would like to do is come down a little something like this, go over a little something like this, and that gives us a space where we could have our prisoners, but we do still need room for the visitors to come in here. So the way we can do that is by going down just a little bit further here. We'll sort of block out this space. We can go maybe 3 tiles over this way, up to about there, and over to about there. And so what we can do is allow our visitors into this main hallway, down through this space, into this hallway, and then into this space in the middle. I guess we can separate this if we really want to. We probably don't need this wall right here, and we can probably get some doors here, get some doors here, get some doors right there, and we'll get a door right there as well. And we can go one further, as we probably should. We want to bring this hallway down to about that space. We can get rid of this little bit of wall up here as a continuation of that hallway. And that's essentially going to be what I want to do for visitation. I might go a little bit further though, because when I was looking at the visitation room, or when I was searching for it, there is a visitor reception, which is an area for visitors to check in and potentially be searched to make sure that they pose no danger to the prison via either contraband or their health. Now, the health thing, I've got no idea about that. I don't really know what that means. But I do like the idea of having some kind of visitor reception in here. So if we go back into planning, what if we were to build some kind of room right here? So we could do like a 7 by 7 space. They come in, they get checked. We could go a little bit bigger with that, maybe 8 by 8, just so we have this space. We'll go 9 by 9 even, again, just to make sure that we have the space we might need for this. And then we can go ahead again and do some doors. We can do some doors, and then they go in and out through that visitor reception, and I think that's going to be completely okay. So what I would like to do now is go into our foundations. I want to get the brick foundations as we usually do. I'm going to, I guess, just lay out this part right here. We can lay out all of this part right about here, and right about here. And then if we go to our doors, we can get ourselves the, let's see, the visitor door, which is going to go in that wall right about there. And that's going to be a way for my workers to get into this space. I might even go so far. I was thinking of just opening this up, but I think we could maybe get away with a large jail door in that space just to keep it nice and secure and make sure that no one's getting down to visitation before I want them to. And speaking of workers, we have 15 of them. Let's bring that up to 20 for the time being, just because I kind of want this work to be done that little bit quicker. We have so many trees that we need to pull out of this space as well. But this should, hopefully, keep our prisoners just that little bit happier, because if we go and have a bit of a look at them, if we hover over, let's see, let's go for Dylan, we can see that his needs include family and privacy. We have Keevil, who has some family needs. We have a few of them with family needs, basically. The privacy need is actually going to be slightly trickier, because ultimately the privacy need is never really going to be fulfilled until we give them individual cells. And I'm really not 100% sure if I want to do that, although giving them individual cells might be a good way to keep them nice and calm and stop them from fighting and stop them from trying to attack my guards. So it might be worth experimenting with, but for now, I'm going to prioritize visitation, because that's step one towards making them just that little bit happier. And I suppose while that's going on, we should come up to the canteen here and start planning a bit of an expansion to this thing, because that is 100% something that we're going to need to do once we start bringing more prisoners in here. So I think what we can go for is, let's see, this is 3x4. So I'm just going to go for something relatively simple here. I think we just do exactly the same sort of layout. I'm not really too interested in making the canteen super fancy right now. So just a little something like that. That's not what I wanted at all. I wanted to the object planning just down here. That will essentially double the capacity of the canteen, which I think is a pretty solid idea. We should probably get some extra dormitories in here as well once we do that. But I think, all things considered, like I said, we're going to prioritize visitation. And I suppose, again, while that's going on, we can take a look at bureaucracy, because I think we want to do education, and I think we want to do it sooner than later. Now, I do have some concerns about education. Now, I will say, education, it takes 12 hours to research, so getting this now is probably for the best. But if we look into programs specifically, and we scroll down a little bit, there is a workshop safety induction. There is farm work safety as well. These require, I guess, 2 sessions. We need prison labor and farming for this. We need prison labor for this one. Because we have prisoners that don't stay here for very long, it might end up taking, we might not end up with people that can work in workshops. They might get released before they complete these courses. So education is something that we might struggle with a little bit in terms of prisoner programs, but in terms of staff programs, we can get, well, I don't think we need education for taser certifications, but we can get electrician training, which will allow staff, by completing this program, staff will learn how to deal with faulty wiring, allowing them to fix any dangerous electricals. Fire safety training will allow them to learn how to use fire extinguishers in the case of an emergency. They can mitigate the spreading of fire. First aid training exists, and pest control training exists as well. So for pest control, we need education and cleaning. We do have cleaning. Basically, oh wow, this got built so much quicker than I thought it would. Basically, what I'm getting at is that even though my prisoners might not get educated into much, my workers, my staff will get educated just a little bit, and that's essentially what I'm going to be aiming for, is to educate all of them in whatever it is they need to be educated in. So we'll go ahead and get these walls in here. We'll go to objects and go to visitor booth, and we want to do the visitors in the middle. Now these are $1,000 each, which means we're about to spend $10,000 on these booths, but it is worth it for the added security. I really don't, I mean, look, we have a minimum security prison, right? It's not a maximum security facility right now. I've never really been interested in using the visitor tables I think I might have used them 1 or 2 times when visitation like first became a thing, but I've really never used them since. I've just not seen much of a point. But what we will do is get some double visitor doors here, here, and here. We can go and do a large jail door just down yonder with a double door right about there as well, just to keep things nice and enclosed. And I suppose we can let my staff get to work on furnishing this entire space. I suppose I should also go ahead and get some lights in here, because that's something that I completely forgot about. So we'll do some lights right there. We'll do some lights here. We'll do some lights here. And we'll do a couple of lights just about there. I don't know if we're going to need them in the middle. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to get some extra lighting in there. We can do some lights here as well. We'll get them over in this space, down in the corner, outside of this door, outside of that door, and we can dot some lights into this room as well. I guess this hallway also needs them. And then we need to bring some electrical cable through here as well. So let's run that down this hallway. Let's run it through this space as well, so that all of this is going to be nicely connected. And I suppose we'll run it across and loop it around as well. And by the looks of it, we have one more visitor booth to go in, and that should mean that that space is functional, or it will be once I get the room designated. But what I would like to do first is bring some concrete tiles down into here. I want to bring a wooden floor through pretty much all of this space. I think we can get away with some wooden floors kind of coming around into the visitor space. And then for the prisoners, I think we do fancy tiles. I think fancy tiles, you know, it's a little bit nicer than what they're going to be used to, but it's not a wooden floor. They're not getting wooden floors in here. That's just not happening. We'll give them some fancy tiles down there as well. I might convert this into something else eventually, but for now, that'll be just fine. This space here, I want to say we go for... I think I'm going to go for... I don't want to do wooden floor. I want this to be distinct as a room. I'm going to go for the marble tiles, just because, again, it's a little bit fancier, and it'll stand out as its own room. And speaking of which, if we go and set this up as a visitor reception, so right about there, this is going to require an office desk, a chair, and a metal detector. That's interesting. That's very interesting. This will be our first metal detector that we have. And I think what I'd like to do with that metal detector, now these things are kind of expensive, but we can put 2 of them right here. And then we could go ahead and put a brick wall right about there, so they're nicely enclosed. There's no getting around it. We can go to objects. We can get ourselves the office desk, which I want to say is going to live there with the office chair just next to it. And I suppose we'll just do a table. We don't need a table in here, but we can do a table, I suppose. We'll do like a bench of some sort up against that top wall, so maybe they can sit around and, I don't know, wait for something or other. I don't really know what they'd be waiting for, but we can do a little something like that. We do have the floors going in here though, which is just fantastic news. And I'm also pretty sure, if I remember right, the metal detectors do need a dedicated power connection, but I think they are going to get one from the power cable that we have going through there, which is just wonderful news. And there we go. We have all of the floor going into that space. I guess now we set up the regular visitation. So this room right here, this entire thing is now visitation. It'll be working perfectly. And I think with that, I want to get myself a couple of extra guards. I'm going to go from 6 to, I want to say 8 guards will be perfectly fine. And I'm pretty sure visitation, looking at the time over here, is anywhere from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. I don't know if we can change that, to be totally honest with you. It might be a policy thing. It's not a regime thing. It's not a reform thing. It's not a finance thing. I really have no idea. We will figure that out. But for now, since it's from 8 until 8, if we go to deployment, we want to say that we have guards assigned to this middle space and this outer space at all times from 8 o'clock throughout the entire day. And what this is going to mean actually is that we're going to need another guard or 2 to be hired because we will probably need someone to be able to go into the visitor reception to search them as they come through. So let's go to staff again. Let's get ourselves, I guess, up to 10 guards now, which means we're going to be spending 1,000 per day in guard wages. But that should be all right. Did I put the... Apparently I canceled the marble tiles in here. Let's go ahead and make sure that we're doing that entire room in marble tiles, just so it looks a little bit fancier and a little bit nicer. And there we go. I think that looks pretty good. I'm excited about this. I'm really, really excited about this. It should make our prisoners just that little bit happier, and that is a fantastic thing. So moving on from that, let's go ahead and expand the canteen just a little bit. I feel like we might as well do this. So if we do something like this, once they build that foundation, the old wall will go away. We can prioritize this. Not that we have anything else going on for my workers right now, but I would like them to focus on getting the canteen expanded. And then once we expand the canteen, we can probably go ahead. Ooh, they're getting angry. We can probably go ahead and get a few more dormitories in here as well. And you know, just thinking about it, I probably want to have a look at some of the rooms that we have available. So we don't necessarily need the standalone shower anymore. The cleaning cupboard is something we can send prisoners to work in at some stage. Isn't there, if I remember right, a laundry requirement? Yeah. So I need prison labor for this, which is slightly unfortunate, but it would probably make them a little bit happier. We do have some of them wanting some clothing, I guess, at this point, so they're going to need their clothes changed and cleaned and all that stuff, so probably not a bad idea to look into laundry a little bit sooner than later. But what we'll do is just clone this right here and put it there. We can go ahead and clone the good old serving table as well. And then I think we'll change the flooring in there from the white tiles to, I want to say, the ceramic floor. It's not necessarily as fancy, it's not necessarily as nice, and they don't move as fast on it, but I don't think they need to move super quickly inside of the canteen anyway, so they'll be totally fine. The good news is that expansion was really, really quick, which is just fantastic. And you know what? I'm just looking at this space down here and realizing I want to do something. I want to go to flooring, I want to go to sand, and I want to make it possible for my workers to walk around the outside of these buildings. So I want to fill in that space just like that with some sand so that they can do that, so that we can get into all of these trees. And what I might do once they figure that out is go ahead and expand the gravel around the outside of the prison as well, just a little bit further so we don't have trees right up against the building. But there we go. That's sort of what I'm looking for. I think I will swap that out as well for something like the wooden dock, just so it doesn't look like we have this perfectly straight edge of sand around here. We can have a bit that they've had to build to get around the buildings. I think that's kind of cool. We could maybe do something similar in here as well. I think we just sort of continue that wooden dock, and then if we go and grab the gravel, we can bring it down, we can bring it over, and I guess we can, you know what, give me a little bit more of that wooden dock right to, I want to say right to about there, or there, I think is probably fine, because I do know that I can go in and I can take some of the land away, so I can put more water in here, and I think that would look really cool. If we go to landscaping and we go to water and just put some water here, we could put a little bit of water into some of this space, which I'm not necessarily against doing. I think it could look kind of neat if we have just an extra little bit of water out here. Completely unnecessary to do this, I will be honest. Completely unnecessary, completely pointless, but I think it looks neat. I do. I think it's kind of cool having the docks around there, so that's nice. Oh, and I totally forgot that I need to expand the canteen space here, which apparently I can't do onto that spot there for some reason. That's odd. Hold on. Can I go to rooms? Let me grab canteen. Let me pause while I do this. clear out that entire space, and then do something like this. And there we go. So now that's a fully functional canteen. Not entirely sure why this is still selected as something I want to, that I want to copy. It's not. I don't know why that's highlighted, but oh, is it because we haven't actually installed it yet? So they're going to put the floor back in there. That explains a lot. Okay. I didn't realize they hadn't actually, wait, have they installed this stuff? No, they haven't installed all of this yet. That's why it's highlighted. Okay. Now I understand. Oh, there we go. We have some visitors coming through. That's kind of fantastic news. Let me just pause for a second though, because I want to, let's see, how do I want to go about this? Is technically staff only, but I think they will let the visitors through. I think what we can do is set this area as visitors only. We can set this as minimum security only. And there we go. We have them coming in. They're, I guess, going through the metal detectors. They're not being searched. That's fine. I think we do have some prisoners coming down here to, can I open that door? Is that, can I open that door? There you go. We might need to have a guard in here, or we could start researching automation, because that is a thing we can do as well. Alternatively, I just get rid of this double door and we have that same guard sort of patrol the entire space. That might actually be a little bit easier. The reason I did this double door is basically because in my head, from like an aesthetic point of view for the people inside this space, I don't want the visitors looking through into this corner and into the prison and seeing the large jail door. I want to have the illusion of it being nice and pleasant, but I don't know. I think the easiest thing to do here might just be to maybe for now dismantle that door until we have automation, because I'm having to go around and open these doors myself. So we'll get rid of that door. That way the guard that's stationed in this space will see that the prisoners need to be allowed out of that space, and that should make life a little bit easier for everybody. And so with the visitation expansion built and with the canteen expansion built, we are now at a spot where we could look into getting more dormitories. But what I might do first is try and figure out where exactly I would do a laundry space. And I'm kind of looking at this area and wondering if I could use that. If we look, actually no, to do this in a prison labor, let's research that. It's going to be 6 hours to do it. We do have education now though. So if we look into our reports and we look into our staff programs, what I would be most interested in would be pest control. At least for now, because I do know that rats can be a thing. I know that the prison can be infested by rats. I know that having staff complete this program, they will learn how to install and empty pest control traps, learning how to prepare the mechanisms and handle pests afterwards safely. This is led by a pest control worker in a training room. It is a 2-hour session. Each participant needs a chair, swivel chair, or a yellow chair. It's for janitors, gardeners, and workers, and that seems fine. That seems like something we should do for all of my staff. Now, is a training room separate from a classroom? It is. A training room has to be a minimum 4x5, which would work for this space here. We do actually have a 4x5 space available up here. I was thinking of building a new training space, but that right there kind of works. It does. That kind of works. So let's go into objects. Let's just, I guess, dismantle everything in that office. I will regret this because I am going to need that office at some stage or another, but for now that'll work just fine. We can do, I guess, a couple of lights there and a couple of lights there. And then this is going to need a desk, a chair. It needs rat traps. Wait, what? What? It needs a lot of stuff. Hold on a second. What am I looking at here? I've just noticed how much stuff this actually needs. Let's do, I guess we'll do the desk here, or the chair there. We can do the desk here, and so that's slowly starting to fill up the space, I think. I don't know if it did need the desk. Okay. Does it need this chair? No, it doesn't need an office chair, so that can actually be dismantled again. This desk then can be moved because it can actually live sort of facing that way. So it gives me a little bit more room to work with. And then everything else is just things like these chairs. So let's do, I want to say 4 of these across that wall. We can do, what can I do in here? Can I place rat traps? Is that a thing? It is a thing. Okay. Oh, they're kind of huge. All right. Let's do a couple of rat traps. Like, what do I need for this? What do I need for this program? Hold on. Pest control training. It's, what do we need here? They need a chair. I honestly have no idea. Let's just start this. We don't have the equipment for it, apparently. Can I edit the schedule? And, oh my god. Let's do this at like, I don't know, let's do 6 a.m. in the training room for our pest control training. And do we now have the stuff needed for it? I think we do, actually. Oh, they're all on break. Okay. Yeah, I think technically, I mean, they're just hanging out in there. I think technically this is now a thing. If I stop that one from 6 until 8 every morning, we can have 4 people trained to be pest control. And that seems fine. That seems like a good thing. I do want to get the first aid station and the grit bin in here, though, just to have that thing stop flashing at me. So if we search for, I guess, first aid station, this thing is going to go, I want to put it over by the desk, I think. And then the, what was it, the grit bin, which is this thing. I guess it can live in that corner. And that should, hopefully, mean that that room stops complaining. And that's going to be absolutely fantastic news. And I suppose having people get trained every morning for pest control is also going to be absolutely fantastic news, because it means that if we do end up with rats, I don't have to call on air pest control, which would require a helipad. Do I have a helipad available? Oh, I do. I actually have one for free. Okay. What about this space? Or, I don't know where I would put a helipad to be. I could, oh, hold on a minute. I have an idea. I have a bit of an idea. It might be a silly idea, but I sort of like the idea of putting the helipad, putting it down here is dumb though, because it's so far out of the way, but I really dig this as an idea. The helipad is what, 7 by 7? So if I go to flooring and I was to go to wooden docks, I can't actually build this. I would have to do a 7 by 7 sand thing to begin with. Yeah, so 7 by 7. Do I want to put the helipad in the in the middle of the water? I guess. I guess. Sure. We're gonna do this. I actually want to do this as well, because then I can have a little bit of extra around it. We'll go to the wooden docks. We're gonna go here. We will get this entire thing changed to look a little bit better. I'd like to go to landscaping, and I would like to maybe just bring the water through here a little bit further. Again, not that this is really needed, not that this really matters, but I think it'll look cool if we just have a little bit more water in there. So just a little something like that, I think is fine. This looks really stupid, but once we put a helipad on there, right about there, I think that'll look pretty cool. It's really, it's really dumb looking, isn't it? It is really dumb looking, but I'm here for it, man. I think it's neat. What we can also do is that would probably make sense is get ourselves a staff fence gate down here as well, so that they can actually get through to this space a little bit quicker. And also, I think we're missing some gravel in here. We absolutely are. Let's get that fixed up as well. And there we go. We have a helipad, which is just so unnecessary in that space, but we also get deliveries via helicopters. So if anything, I would imagine that's going to speed things up a little bit. That's, yeah, I wasn't necessarily expecting that, but sure, we can get deliveries by helicopter now. That'll make my life a little bit easier, I suppose, I guess. So I think it's probably time to go through here and start figuring out some extra dormitories. And I'm gonna be honest, I am really tempted to go down to single beds per space, per dormitory, which would turn these back into cells just so my prisoners stop complaining about wanting privacy. If we look over here on the left, we have one prisoner wanting somewhere to be alone. That is relatively low because a bunch of my prisoners have been released, which is fine. We've got 11 more arriving in the morning. But I think it might be an idea to just go ahead and swap these back to cells. I think that probably just makes the most sense to do. And so I think what we do is we start with some planning, because I want to figure out where all of my foundation is going to need to go in here. So for down here, it's relatively easy. This comes out, this goes across, that goes away. This is the wall between the cells, just something like that, I guess. And that should be fine. For this side, we need to go out to here. We need a gap of 2 that comes over to this spot, I think. And then across, and that would be our cells on that side as well. So that's actually relatively easy to do. I think we'll start with this end of things, just because it's a nice big square and we can do that relatively simply. We can go ahead and prioritize that. Not that they're really doing anything else right now, but we can prioritize this, and actually letting them prioritize that and then, you know, zoning this whole thing is probably not the worst idea in the world, because it means that they'll build this end first before going up and doing this. We could make extra money if we added a death row to the... That's grim. That's really grim. What the... Okay. We have prison labor. That's nice. We should actually, just while we're in the neighborhood, have a little bit of a look at our laundry situation. Does this have to be any size? It doesn't. Okay. Can I have a cleaning cupboard of any size as well? It has to be 3 by 3. We can do that. Okay. I have a bit of an idea here. While we're building, let's continue planning. Let's turn this space into a little something something. We can do... I want to say something like this. We'll have a 3 by 4 space for a cleaning cupboard. We'll have some laundry in here. Let's go to foundations. Let's do something like this. Let's go to walls and doors. We'll do our usual thing. We'll get a jail door for the laundry right there. We'll do one for the cleaning cupboard right there. And we can get people working. We can get them doing laundry. We can get them nice and clean prison overalls. We can get them cleaning the floors, which will hopefully keep the rats away, which again would be ideal. Now, admittedly, we should have some education going on over here sooner than later. I think it's a bit early. It starts at 6 if I remember right. And I did that specifically because I think 8 o'clock is when the prisoners get to be just out and about. So we'll see what happens with that. Are they... No, they're still taking their time with it. They're also building this. Okay, are they building this part as well? No, but they are building... I don't know why they're building down here, but sure, that's fine. You know what? They can build whatever they want to build. They can build whatever they want to build. It's fine. Oh, there we go. Oh, we've got them learning. Look at that. That's kind of fantastic. That's really, really good. I'm really happy about that. This space over here is going to need an entrance. Let me go ahead and demolish this bit of wall because we don't really need that. We don't really want that. This space up here, they're starting to work on as well, which is great. Very, very excited about this expansion, even though it's not going to massively increase our prison population. I think the best thing to do realistically is... what do I want to do here? I think we just expand out this way to the left a little bit as well. And then we can, I suppose, gradually phase out the bunk beds and the dormitories. I do like them. I do like the density that you get from having dormitories. In my previous prison, which was admittedly 3.5 years ago, so I don't expect that you've watched it. But I did load up the save. It was my gangs. It was when the gangs expansion came out. I loaded up that save and everyone's in a dormitory. It's absolutely wild. The prison's not all that big. Well, it is. It's actually kind of huge, but the the main part of the prison's not actually all that big, and it has like 300 or 400 prisoners in it just because of how it's set up. Oh, I screwed this up. Hold on a second. I need to redo this little part right here, and I need that to be a priority because I don't want anyone getting out here, and I don't really know what's going on with this, or how I did that, but we can fix that. That's not going to be too difficult. You know, I've got to say, this is all coming together a fair bit quicker than I thought it would, although I'm realizing that just because I like mirrored symmetry, I'm going to have to sort of manually build some of these spaces. And I'm kind of wondering if I can maybe do it a little better than the game has done, than the prefabs, because I'm not convinced that you need this many drains for a shower. I think if there's a drain directly underneath the shower, that's all you need. So we're going to find out if I can make this whole thing just a little bit better. So if we go to objects and we go to toilet, we'll put the toilet here. We are going to do, let me see. I need a TV, which is going to be here. We are going to need some beds. Now, there are comfy beds. They are, however, $800 versus the $200 of a regular bed. There's also a coffin bed, which is an option. We have a netted camp bed as well. It's it's ridiculous. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing the coffin either. I love it. I really do, but I don't think we're doing that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm tempted by the comfy bed just to increase the rating of the cells, because I think that could be really good for us. I just don't know. Maybe we try it out. It's going to be really expensive, but if I do start running out of money, we have a billion trees that I can chop down for profits. So, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to do the comfy bed. I might even change no, I'm not going to change the layout. We'll put the comfy bed there, which is expensive, but that's fine. I do want to grab the shower head right here. We could do sinks and mirrors as well. The shower head's going to go on this wall. We want a drain just underneath it. We could do a wooden drain. Is it? That seems unnecessary. We'll do the normal one. We're not going to get carried away with this. We're absolutely not getting carried away with this. I would also like to get some radiators in here. We have a radiator on the wall right about there. And I think that's about everything we need. Although looking at this, we could arguably do something like a chair in here as well. I'm not doing an office chair, but if I just search for like chair, what are my options? We have a leather chair. I'm not giving them a leather chair. Absolutely not. I could give them like a yellow chair or a swivel chair. I can't give them a swivel chair. I'm going to give them a yellow chair as well. Or could I do a radio? I could give them a radio to make them happy as well. I'm going to give them the chair. We're giving them a fancy cell at this point. It's fancier than I'm necessarily comfortable with, but I want to see just how happy the prisoner is that happens to get this cell. So we'll put a door on there. We can prioritize putting all this together. I don't know, how did Bolton end up in solitary? What did you do? Tried to escape? Okay. He's also an ex-prison guard. Okay, Bolton. I'm pretty sure he got out at one point as well. I think he's been sent back. So that's a development. that's definitely a development. Anyway, while that's going on, let's go ahead and get ourselves the laundry room, which is going to be right here. Let's get ourselves the cleaning cupboard as well, which is going to be down here. We can assign prisoners to those at some point, but before we do, I want to start bringing some concrete tiles through here. I want to take some concrete tiles through all of this space as well. I think we stick with the mosaic floors for the cells. It's not the most fancy looking, but it's going to certainly do the job. And I guess we also want to start bringing things like electrical cables down these hallways so that we do have power for whatever lights I put in here. We are going to need to... How am I going to do this? What way am I going to do this? I actually haven't really thought too much about what the layout of this entire thing is going to be. I guess we want to do small pipes to those toilets, a little something like that. We then want to do small pipes to the showers in these corners. That one's apparently not even connected, so that'll be fine. We can go to this side of things, and I guess technically the showers on this side would be in those top left corners. So a little something like this. Toilets would be there, so we'll get that connected up nice and quickly. And then for the hot water pipes, we want to go to that spot, I think, is where the radiators are going to live. Same thing on this side as well. We'll get these all installed ahead of time, so I don't have to worry about it that bit later on. And so now I think we're in a spot where I can just go ahead and copy this entire interior, as expensive as that might end up being. We can just grab everything here. We can go like this. We can go like this. We can then rotate it around and put it up at this end of things as well. And that's going to give us 6 relatively fancy cells, which I'm very much okay with. I think that's going to be a pretty good thing for us. And while that's going on, let's get the laundry sorted out. So this needs a laundry machine, a laundry basket, and some ironing boards. Let's do, these are $1,000 each. How's power's looking good? Okay, power's fine. So the ironing board is huge. The small ironing boards are not. Let's do 2 small ironing boards. Let's do 3 laundry machines. And let's do, I want to say 2 laundry baskets. We will need to power these things directly if I remember my prison architect properly. And I guess while we're here, let's also go ahead and put, let's put some white tiles in both of those rooms because we might as well. We're also starting to get alarmingly low on money, which has me a little bit concerned. But we can, of course, get these cells up and going at some point in the hopefully not too distant future, because we're absolutely going to need to do that. We also need to bring water down to these washing machines. So I think just because I get the feeling we're going to need it, we'll bring a large pipe down here, and then we'll just run some small pipes underneath the machines. And so just like that, we have all of these new cells, although they're not actually set up to be cells yet. So let me grab the cell room thing here and get these all set up to be 3 new cells. This can be 3 new cells as well, which gives us a capacity of 22. We can go over to, I'm genuinely turning my head sideways to look at these things. It's kind of a pain. We want to go up to 22, so we're bringing 6 people in tomorrow, which is completely fine by me. I want to go to deployment, and I would like to, how do I don't remember how, there we go, prison labor. Let's get 3 people working in the cleaning cupboard. Let's get 4 of them working in laundry. And then if we go over to our, I'm turning my head again. We go, where is it? What am I looking for here? Regime, I think? Yeah, there we go. I can turn my head back. Let's do work and free time. That's what we want to go for here during the day. So basically from 2 until 8, so a solid 6 hours, they're gonna be working. Or, well, if they're not working, they have free time, which is fine. But we're gonna have people doing laundry. We're gonna have people doing cleaning. So this should help things be that little bit cleaner, be that little bit better, be that little bit more efficient around here, which is fantastic. We also have had a bit of visitation going on. Why are you dressed like a prisoner? You know what? It's not my business. Let me get that opened up right there. Let me, what are you doing? There you go. Why do we not have a guard in visitation? I don't know what's going on there. I really probably should look into just improving things a little bit around here. I really should start getting, I guess, some automation around the place. That really would probably help us out. But at the very least, we have people going around and working, right? That's something. I think what I might need to do for deployment, ooh, we've changed some things here. Minimum security, please. Minimum security here and here. These guys are minimum security as well. This is minimum security. Let me assign some guards. So during, oh, hold on a minute. So this is now free time and work time. Okay. let me change some things here. So we need to, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use the bright pink. So during these hours here, we now need to assign guards slightly differently. I want a guard in that hallway because I think that's important. I want a guard in here and here because that's going to be important. And that way we have people to open the doors for the workers. We have people watching visitation, but it's also free time. So we do want one in the yard. We do probably want one in there to keep that door. And I think we want one here. That is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guards assigned, and we have like 10 of them. That should be all right. I'm not gonna, well, you know what? I will put one in the shower just to be safe and make sure that everything's all right. And I think I will put one in the canteen. That should leave us like 1 guard free, which is honestly okay. At the very least, now that we have a guard assigned to this corridor, it means that whenever someone wants out of one of these rooms, that guard can let them out nice and quickly. It does seem like all of my guards are working though. We have 8 stationed, 1 doing a job, 1 on break, 6 that need a break. Let me go ahead and bring my guards up to 12 just to make sure that we're okay, just to make sure that we have that little bit of a buffer with the guards. And honestly, all things considered, I think this is going pretty well. I think we're in a pretty good spot. So much so that I think I would like to, do I want to expand a little bit further with the cells right now? I kind of do. I'll be honest, I do, but I don't know that we need to. I think what I will go ahead and do though, just to keep people busy, is bring the gravel just around the outside of the prison just a little bit further. I really do think I want to keep those trees back a little bit. So we'll just expand it up and around there. We'll go up to about there. Up and around the new canteen as well, and across like this. What? I just got fined $45,000 for a prisoner reoffending. I'm beyond broke. What do you mean? How is that my fault? I mean, I get it. I understand. I do. I get it, but what? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. There's like a 58% chance. Right. So because this guy's age gives him plus 90% chance of reoffending, his punishment grade brings it down, reform grade brings it down, his health grade brings it up, his known traits bring it down, his addictions bring it up, convictions bring it down, family brings it down. So his initial reoffending percentage was 79%. It's now 76. So do we just need to like, I have no idea. So visitation doesn't help. So, I mean, first off, this minus 40,000 up here is why I have all these trees that can grow so quickly, because as much as a crutch as it can become, it does mean that I can go and do something like this, and that'll get me a bunch of money, which is great. I'm using it as a crutch only when a system in the game, at least for now, only when a system in the game absolutely screws things up, and I don't know what to. I mean, look. I'm gonna be honest. Without these trees, without the ability to chop down all these trees and sell them, that would probably be game over. I don't know how I would come back from that. I mean, I could probably take a loan. I could take cell block B as a grant, which we are working towards, but that only gets me up to negative $30,000 from 40. So yeah, I think, all things considered, we're in a bit of a pickle. But we'll sell a bunch of logs. We'll put them on a helicopter. We'll put them on boats, and it'll be fine. We have some inmates coming in soon, so that'll be great. That'll be a whole thing. We're spending $250 a day on teaching people about pest control as well. Again, that'll be fine, I guess. I cannot believe that I get fined so steeply for people reoffending. That is absolutely wild to me. But, you know, it is what it is. It's fine. It's totally fine. Can we get this boat out of here? I would like to, have the new inmates show up. No, they're not showing up yet. That's fine. They are, oh no, what is this? What do you want? Consider equipping some of your more mischievous prisoners with a tracking belt. We will keep track of them through the security room. Okay, no. Oh wait, did they just get here by they just got here? Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Some of you have, this means that they're back. This icon, so they were released from here and they're back now. We also have this guy who looks kind of fantastic. Okay, he's in for pickpocketing, that's fine. All right. I'm genuinely a little, concerned is one word. Insulted actually would be another, to be totally honest, but we'll get out of this. It's fine. Everything's gonna be okay. Anyway, I think we can go ahead and leave it there for today. I genuinely was not expecting to go down to minus $40,000, but we will get some money back from selling all these trees. I would like to look into prison labor as a means of making money, but I'm not 100% convinced it's going to be because of the simple fact that people get out of the prison so quickly. We can see what happens though. We can absolutely see what happens. I'm also thinking that with this series going forward, every few episodes, I might do an episode that's like escape mode. So I think it could be kind of fun every like 5 episodes or so, we do an escape mode episode so that I can try and get out of the prison. And we kind of see, you know, how easy would it be for me to escape from this prison right now versus in another 5 episodes time, and so on and so forth. That might give us ideas of what I can do to make it more secure for the people that are in here right now, but it's only something I'm thinking about. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Either way, that is going to do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure as always, and as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.